Hello, East Islip Christian Reformed Church. My name is Katie Roelofs. I work for the Christian Reformed Church in their office called Thrive. I serve as the worship consultant there. The privilege and the pleasure of being friends with your pastor, Pastor James. Today I'm coming to you from a little bit further south in the greater Washington, D.C. area. The hat and the coat will tell you a little bit about the weather today. It is a snow day for us, and I'm assuming it's probably a snow day for you as well. So right now I'm standing in the back classrooms of the Silver Spring Christian Reformed Church in Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm going to turn around and give you a little angle of what this classroom looks like. You probably think a Sunday school classroom, a place where education happens, where there might be children and worship materials and things like that. But this is what the back classrooms look like for them right now. This is 1 out of 7 classrooms that is absolutely packed with food. Before the pandemic, this little church, this church that worships about 100-ish or so on a Sunday morning, had a food pantry that they did once a month, and they served on average 75 families once a month. Once the pandemic got going, they started a weekly pantry, and they were serving close to 1,000 families every single week throughout all of COVID. Week after week, these classrooms filled up with food, and they would be emptied into bags and brought out into the parking lot. The beautiful thing, besides the fact that food was going out and people were being fed, was the fact that it was not just the work of their own hands, but it became a collaborative effort around the neighborhood. This church is in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood. Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, and local synagogues came to help. The Catholic Church across the street started sending volunteers. The Presbyterian Church down the road started sending volunteers. And soon it became this ecumenical endeavor to feed this neighborhood and to feed this community. And it didn't just stop after COVID. It continued in this mighty little food pantry out of this little Christian Reformed church. Still, every single week, is feeding the hungry. Car after car drives up, and not only do they receive a bag of food to feed their bellies, but they receive a word and love to feed their soul. From a small church in a small community doing big things. The word we're going to share today comes to you from Mark chapter 10. I'm going to settle in here amongst all of these piles of food and share a word with you from Mark 10. Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to him. "Teacher," they said, "we want you to do for us whatever we ask." "What do you want me to do for you?" he asked. They replied, "Let one of us sit at your right and the other at your left in your glory." "You don't know what you're asking," Jesus said. "Can you drink the cup I drink or be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with?" "We can," they answered. Jesus said to them, "You will drink the cup I drink and be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with, but to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared." When the 10 heard about this, they became indignant with James and John. Jesus called them together and said, "You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The disciples. They're bold. Maybe they're a little annoying. Maybe you find that too in the text. Because they want a status. They want certainty about the future, and they want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that all of the good things that they've been doing and the following of Jesus is going to pay off for them in a really big way. "Jesus, we followed you. Jesus, we've protected you from the crowds. We've helped you feed and clothe. We've done all of the things. So promise us that when you come to glory, that we get a spot on your right and a spot on your left. I wonder if sometimes it's easy for us to judge. How dare they ask that? What an arrogant ask. But at the same time, haven't we all prayed something somewhat similar? God, I don't want to doubt your presence and I don't want to doubt your promises, but I've been a good father or mother. I've been a good child of aging parents. I do well in my career. I serve at the church. I do all of the things. So give me some kind of guarantee about my future. My favorite part, that Jesus lovingly answers, what do you want me to do for you? He asks the same identical question of blind Bartimaeus several verses later. He asks, what do you want me to do for you? An act of compassion and of familiarity and trust. He lets the disciples work this out a little bit, and they say, give us certainty and give us promise. Jesus' response, he's not angry. It's not rebuke. It's mission, compassion, and sending. Whoever wants to be great must be your servant. Whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. Go and do. Do the work that I have given you to do, and do it with all your heart. It's easy, isn't it? To get lost thinking about our future, whether that be your own personal future, the future of your church, of a denomination, or anything. And in our desire for certainty, maybe we're missing something. Maybe we're missing opportunities to once again hear God's unique call to go and to do. Serve, love. What is your unique mission at East Islip CRC to be a servant to those around you? What work has God put right in front of you to do? I've had the privilege of hearing stories from Pastor James about the good work that you're doing, and I'm so grateful to partner with you in the gospel and know the very particular ways that you live out God's mission in your church. So today I want to encourage you, and I want you to remember God's call in this very present moment to go and to serve. Love. Do the good work that God has prepared and equipped you to do. Whether that be something like a food pantry, whether that be something in your own community, whether that be faithful worship of God's people Sunday after Sunday, go and do. And may you continue to hear God's invitation. What do you want me to do for you? East Islip, may God bless you and the work of your hands today.